Welcome to the deep dive. Something that eventually touches all of us is dealing with loss.
Yeah, absolutely. It's universal.
And when that happens, families often turn to funeral homes. But what we're going to explore today is, well, how these homes can maybe deepen their connections, provide more support, but also, and this is key, find some real financial benefits and growth for their own business.
That's right, because for a long time, that relationship has been quite transactional, hasn't it?
Very. Focused on that immediate time.
Right, a really short period. But what if that relationship could actually last longer, offer value before things happen and after the service?
Exactly. Think about it. When someone passes away, families are just hit with grief, obviously, but also, let's be honest.
Oh, the paperwork.
A mountain of administrative stuff. It's huge. So what if funeral homes could step up more? Be that trusted partner to ease some of that load.
Yeah, extending support beyond just planning the funeral itself.
It really makes you think about the whole life cycle of how a family interacts with a funeral home.
Traditionally, it's intense but brief.
Right.
The real opportunity seems to be in stretching that out, becoming a source of ongoing help, maybe even guidance.
And that brings us to some really interesting ways funeral homes can actually do this. We're seeing a move towards more, let's say, holistic support.
Holistic. Yeah, like becoming sort of lifelong partners to these families.
Lifelong partners. I like that.
And what's really fascinating there is the potential to help families not just right after a loss, but also getting ahead of it, helping people prepare, make sure their wishes are known, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Let's dig into that proactive side first. This end-of-life legacy planning idea. What does that actually mean for families, and how does the funeral home fit in?
Well, basically, it's about individuals getting their affairs in order ahead of time.
Right.
So organizing the important documents, wills, insurance, financial stuff.
The essential.
Exactly. But it can also be more personal, like documenting wishes for the funeral or maybe how they want sentimental items passed on.
Okay.
And by offering tools or just guidance here, the funeral home becomes this valuable resource before anyone's even grieving.
So let's unpack that value proposition. For a family that actually does this kind of pre-need planning, maybe using something the funeral home offers, what's the real benefit?
Oh, the biggest one. It's peace of mind, hands down. Just imagine knowing that all your vital info is organized, it's secure, and your loved ones can actually find it easily when they need it.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly helpful.
It really is. This planning ahead can just lift a massive weight of stress and, frankly, guesswork off grieving families later on.
No scrambling for documents or wondering what Dad would have wanted.
Precisely. It's a gift, really, a gift of clarity when things are already so tough.
Okay, makes total sense for the family. Now flip it. For the funeral home, what's the benefit to them for offering or, facilitating these legacy planning tools?
Well, this is where that long-term partner idea really clicks into place.
Right.
By giving families something genuinely valuable before they need the core funeral services, the home builds trust. It becomes an advisor.
Establishes that relationship early.
Exactly. It builds confidence, loyalty. So when the time does come, who are they going to call? Probably the people who've already shown they care and help them prepare.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Build the trust, the familiarity first. Okay, so that's the before. What about the after a loved one passes?
Yeah.
You mentioned post-life estate management. How can funeral homes help families then? That seems like a really difficult time.
It is. That period right after a death, it's just incredibly overwhelming for most people.
Yeah.
You're grieving, but you've also got these complex tasks landing on your lap, settling the estate, dealing with finances, legal requirements. It's a lot.
Definitely.
So if the funeral home can offer or even just connect families with resources for managing the estate, well, that's huge support during a really vulnerable time.
Can you give some concrete examples? What would that support actually look like?
Sure. It could be tools, maybe software that helps families, say, track the assets.
Okay.
Or guides them through probate filings, which can be confusing. Or maybe it's connecting them with vetted professionals, lawyers, accountants who specialize in estates.
So the funeral home acts as a kind of hub.
Yeah.
A central point.
Kind of, yeah. Guiding them through these processes that most people just don't deal with regularly.
So by adding this post-need support, the funeral home really cements its role as more than just well, the funeral planner.
Exactly. It shows they're committed beyond the immediate arrangements. It
Yeah.
says, we're here to support you, really, every step of the way.
Right.
And that deeper level of care strengthens the bond, reinforces their value significantly.
Okay, let's talk bottom line now. The tangible benefits, the financial angle for funeral homes that actually adopt this wider role. We've mentioned loyalty, maybe referrals.
Yep.
But how else does this translate into, actual growth?
Oh, absolutely. There are direct financial aspects. By offering more services, they literally open up new revenue streams.
Like what?
Well, think about, say, subscription models for some of these planning tools, or maybe service fees for helping with the estate management side.
Okay, direct revenue?
Direct revenue. And beyond that, by positioning themselves as the go-to for complete end-of-life care, they stand out. It's differentiation.
In what's probably quite a competitive market.
Exactly. Families are looking for convenience, for trusted help when they're stressed.
Yeah.
A funeral home offering this whole package, that's much more appealing.
So it's about expanding what they offer, becoming that sort of one-stop resource for families dealing with all this.
Precisely. And think about what that does for the business model. It leads to better customer retention.
Sticking with them longer.
Yeah, and a more resilient business overall. When you build these long-term relationships, you're less dependent only on the immediate at-need calls, which can fluctuate, right?
Makes sense. Smooth things out.
It does. That consistent engagement through pre-need planning and post-need support, it creates a steadier, more predictable income base. I mean, look at the data around pre-need arrangements alone. Homes offering robust pre-need programs often report significantly better revenue stability, stronger financials over time. It stands to reason that extending services further into legacy and estate management would follow that pattern. It just offers more avenues for sustainable growth.
So if we boil it down, the key takeaway seems to be that by evolving, moving from just providing the funeral service to being a partner across the whole spectrum of end-of-life needs,
Yeah.
funeral homes can build much deeper, more meaningful connections with families.
And those deeper connections, they aren't just, nice to have for the families. They directly feed back into real financial benefits for the funeral homes.
Right. More loyalty, more referrals.
So new revenue opportunities, long-term stability. It really looks like a win-win.
This has been really eye-opening. Looking at the funeral industry's evolution and this potential for growth through, better family connection, it definitely makes you think, doesn't it? How might our understanding of the support families really need extend beyond just those immediate arrangements, creating deeper connections and ultimately sustainable growth in this changing industry? Thanks for joining me for this.